Hello.
Greetings, young Jedi.
Hello there.
What is up, everyone? Hybrid Toy Reviews here, and today we are going to AnimeVerse Pittsburgh. It is an anime, wrestling, and animation convention. Two of the three things I'm not that into, but they do have a lot of people from Avatar: The Last Airbender here, and that is a beloved childhood show of mine, and I have met almost the entire cast of it. However, there are a few that I've not met, including Zach Tyler Eisen, who is the voice of Aang, Jack DeSena, who is Sokka, and James C. or Sai? It's S-I-E. He's the cabbage merchant. And I am excited to meet all of them here today and see what this convention has to do. It is a newer convention. I've never seen it advertised before, at least in the area. So it's going to be interesting to see what they offer. I am excited for it. And all said, let's go get checked in. I am running a little bit late. It has been about 2 hours since it opened. What can I say? Slept through my alarm. So let's go. And the badge has been secured. First impression, it's very spacious. They haven't filled it up a whole ton, but that's nice. It means we're not going to be super crowded. I'm already seeing some Avatar names over here, so I might just try and get my autographs knocked out, and we'll take a good look at the event after that. Right now we are like first in line waiting for Zach Tyler Eisen to get back.
It's like subtraction for big.
I've never done magic, so I don't think, I don't know.
So I just met James Sai, and he is super, super nice, and we talked for like 10 minutes about just the iconic nature of what was supposed to be a one-off quote, which was awesome. Zach Tyler Eisen is like the most down-to-earth dude ever. I will recap a lot of that when I get back to the car, and now we're going to get in Jack DeSena's line. And I just got to meet Jack DeSena, who plays Sokka, and is just insanely awesome, and that probably concludes my Avatar pop collection, unless I can ever get Mark Hamill someday. But I'm just really, really amped. So I'm going to let these dry, get them packed back up, and then we're going to go take a little walk around the vendor floor. A $6 can bottle of water later, we start making our way around. Start making my way back to the car. I've seen about all there really is. It really kind of comes across more as like an autograph type of show, you know, and a couple of booths, but it's really not that crowded all said. So we'll talk more at the car. Alright, so I'm home, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the convention experience at AnimeVerse Pittsburgh. I gotta say, it was generally pleasant. It was a little bit of a smaller scale than I thought it would be. It was my first time being in the David Lawrence Convention Center. I've heard talk about this convention center for years as a former Steel City Con goer. People always say they should have it at this venue. It's so much bigger. It's so much better than the Monroeville Convention Center. I gotta say, I would really like to see Steel City Con move there now that I've been there. People always say the cost of parking would be too much. It would ruin it for you. I gotta say, the parking garage that's tied to the convention center had $15 day of event parking, and it was full, and I had to park at the parking garage for the Greyhound bus network next door, and it was $6 for the 4 hours I was there. So, if that's make or break on your Comic-Con budget, your Comic-Con budget isn't big enough. So, it's too tight for you to be going to Comic-Cons. But Anyway, the venue was really nice. It was very spacious. This event, as I mentioned earlier, was a little bit of a hybrid. It was, hey, that's me. It was a bit of animation, anime, like as the genre, and then wrestling. And so it was kind of cool. It was sort of like that Collecticon I went to this summer at the Cleveland IX Center. The middle of this ginormous room was the event stage where they would do panels and cosplay contests and stuff, and it was really, really cool, and it was accessible, and even if you didn't get a seat, and you wanted to watch a panel, there was kind of just, you could just kind of stand around, and see it. It wasn't, hidden away in a room at the end of a hall or something. That was kind of nice. And not that I'm a big panel watcher, they can be fun. I just don't always want to lose a ton of time on them, but it was nice, there was one or two I was kind of interested in. I was able to catch a couple minutes of them, so that was cool. The booths were really spread out, and I don't know if they just didn't want to book a ton of booths or if they didn't get a lot of turnout. A lot of the booths were anime merch, the stuff you would expect, your body pillows, plushies, blind boxes, a lot of swords. There was a couple of lightsaber vendors, but they really didn't have a huge assortment. I went in with my work Christmas bonus. I probably would have bought a NeoPixel if they had something interesting, and they just didn't have anything that really caught my eye. So that's just how it goes. So I was just there for the autographs, and of course, my first autograph was from Zach Tyler Eisen, who voiced Aang in Avatar: The Last Airbender all the way back starting in 2005, and he is just the nicest guy. Everyone was going for a big group photo op right when I got there, and his line was empty, and it said he'd be back in a half hour, so I just went and stood in the line area. I want to be the first guy as soon as he was back, and it was more like an hour until he got back, but whatever, I kind of got to just take in the environment. But he came out, he was really nice. So if you haven't followed this guy, he got out of acting after Avatar. It wasn't a bad experience. It was just kind of like, okay, this is done. I'm going to go do something else. And he's just explored other ventures in entertainment and media, and I think he went to film school and stuff. So he doesn't really get on camera or behind the mic anymore. So he very much, the vibe is very much just he's a dude, and he's about my age, and he just comes out and handshakes you, hey, what's your name? Hey, thanks for, how far do you drive? Man, thanks for coming out, And we talk a couple minutes. I asked for this easy to do nothing, it's hard to forgive quote, which is just an amazing quote. Aang is the world's wisest 12-year-old in addition to being the Avatar in the show. But it's from the episode, of course, where Katara goes off to find the Fire Nation general that killed her mother, and Aang is imploring her to find a way to seek forgiveness instead of revenge, and she ultimately makes the right choice, albeit difficult. And it's just a really good quote, and I like it, and we talked about that episode a little bit, and just about my general love for the show. This was that first show for me as a kid that really did the episodic, you miss an episode, you gotta go catch it because you're gonna not understand next week's, While it was a cartoon, they put the kids in genuine situations. It wasn't just silly, goofy episode of the week SpongeBob stuff. It was there were stakes, there was drama, it was very well written. I love this show. If you have not watched it, just insanely highly recommended. And of course he's the main character finally, and I've met the majority of the cast. The majority of the cast was there. I've met the majority of everyone that was there at other conventions over the years. And at the end, I'll show you my Avatar Pop collection all together now. But getting Aang finally, the main character, just is a very, very good feeling. It's one that I thought wouldn't happen because he, basically everyone but him was doing the conventions until about a year ago. So, setting him aside, I'm going to bring in now the Cabbage Man. So, this is one of my favorite gags from the show. So, his name is James C., or Psy. It's S-I-E. I didn't ask. I should have asked for a pronunciation. I'm going to say James C. And he was very, 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 very nice. And the Cabbage Man, the gimmick is, the gang would they'd run into enemies in the street or whatever, and there'd be a little street fight, and they'd get away, and this wandering cabbage merchant just goes village to village, would always be in their way, and his cart of cabbages would get knocked over, and he would scream, "My cabbages!" And it was just funny. And he revealed that it was supposed to be a one-time bit, and then it was so well received that they wrote him in to have the cabbage bit once a season for the duration of the show. And then he got to cameo in Legend of Korra, and he got to reprise the role in the Netflix live-action adaptation. I mean, just what a really cool guy. He talked to everyone a ton. His line wasn't horribly long, which was nice. You know, you didn't feel rude like talking to him for 5 minutes because like there's only like 3 people behind you, and every one of them got a 5-minute talk. But just a very, very nice guy. We talked a good deal, and he had some little merch stuff going on. And you know what? I dabble in pins on occasion, and he had this one, and from Yukio Heroes, and it's the cabbage merchant chasing after his cart, but the cart can spin. It's on a pivot, and that's just freaking sick. So yeah, I dabble with the occasional pin. I've got a little bulletin board in my room, and this is gonna go on the pin board. I couldn't not. Just the fact that it does stuff. I would have been interested no matter what, but it's a pin that does stuff. You know, I mean, how do you not like that? So, pushing the cabbage merchant back, I'm going to bring in my final autograph from the day. I just happened to look over, and he had no line, and I wanted to get over there before he, like, dipped for a bathroom break or something. But I met Jack DeSena, who is Sokka, the comedic relief character, except he wasn't a joke. He had a genuine story throughout the show, and you know, all these characters, you know, even if they're a little lighthearted, they all had stuff going on in their lives. You know, they wrote them very genuinely and earnestly, and I'm just super happy to finally get Sokka, and just a very, very nice guy. I got the "Hey, we're in enemy territory, those are enemy birds" quote from early season 3. Just a super duper nice guy. I have nothing but nice things to say about everyone on this cast. They are all so friendly. Everyone I've met over the years has been just great to talk to. So I'm gonna set that aside, and I will show the extended hauls. I mean, that was it for the con. Just the 3 autographs and the cabbage merchant pin. I went down the road to D&E Collectibles, where I had caught some information. I overheard some conversation, and the cashier told me about it, that he had seen at a local Walmart the Micro Galaxy TIE Defender Elite Chase. He said that he saw it, he thought about it, and he decided not to get it, and it was the day before. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go take a look. And it was still there. And that was super, super cool. So I was like really, really amped to pick that one up. That's going to be a fun one. So until I find a duplicate, I won't be opening it. So no promises of a review unless I find another one. Yeah, my Hot Toys shelf needed a reinforcement. I could not pass when I saw on their Instagram that they had finally gotten stock of the new Hot Toys Wolfpack Trooper. That is the standard one, not the deluxe one with Comet's helmet. I don't really like Comet's helmet that much, so it didn't really offer anything that I felt that I needed for the extra like $40, so I had to grab just the standard Wolfpack Trooper. And as promised, here is my Avatar Pop collection that I have had signed, what this convention allowed me to really finish up. So characters like the Cabbage Merchant, kind of just a running joke, but one that I'm happy to add to the collection. But generally, I have met every like important core character for the most part. So, you know, I got Aang and Sokka over this weekend. Katara I met at a prior Motor City Con. I think it was the fall 2024 one. Mae Whitman, she's awesome. Jessie Flower, or Michaela Jill Murphy, is Toph. I met her, and I met Olivia Hack, and I met Jenny Kwan. So that's Toph, Ty Lee, and Suki at a Sci-Fi Valley Con. It might have been 2023. Dante Bosco at Motor City Con early 2024. He's Zuko. Greg Baldwin, Uncle Iroh, it might have been Pensacon 2023. It was a while ago. Jason Isaacs, I got my Admiral Zhao a few weeks ago at GalaxyCon in Columbus, and I got Azula just recently at a Fan Expo Cleveland this spring. Great Lyle, just amazing voice actress. Cricket Lee voices May in The Last Airbender, and I met her at a convention in Columbus that was supposed to have Jack DeSena like 3 years ago, and then he bailed like the day of. He like it was like the day of or the day before he canceled his appearance, and I was kind of like, oh man, like am I gonna go just for my May autograph? I'm glad I did because I haven't seen her at a lot of conventions since. So it's really cool just seeing all the main cast here. I have a pop of Avatar Kyoshi I might get signed somewhere along the way. The final villain of the show and one operating behind the scenes for the entirety of it, but one who gets very limited screen time, is the Fire Lord, and that would be an excellent autograph to get. Someone I would very much love to meet because he's voiced by Mark Hamill. And I don't know if I want to get a $500 Last Airbender autograph because those were his prices at his last appearance in Fan Expo Chicago. Never say never. I might double up on him if the opportunity ever arises and I have the financial ability to do so, because how can I have all of these and not get the Fire Lord at that point? But generally, I feel like this is kind of like a complete collection for me, and one that I'm just very grateful that AnimeVerse Pittsburgh made it possible for me to do. So thank you so much. I think this is their first go in Pittsburgh. It might be a second. I know they're kind of like newer, at least in the area. And I just really hope this convention franchise does well because they had a very well organized event and I had a great time being there. So with that said, I got to go work on some other stuff. I just wanted to show the hall and talk the experience. It was a great time. So thanks for listening to me yap, y'all. I appreciate it. May the force be with each and every one of you, and I hope everyone has a great day. Bye.